Still louder. And looks like the gods are with us. It's only a few months ago that the first march occurred, and I was here last October. From then to now, it has grown to what you all saw today, several thousand people. There may not be all those people here because there was a whole day program. The wonderful part is that there are people here of all ages, from raising grannies to the little babies, as well as their dogs. Everybody's here. The issue is that you're all talking about that you don't want GMOs. A few years ago, people did not know what GMOs were. I didn't know what GMOs were until a genetically modified product came to my desk at Health Canada, and it was to produce more milk by taking the cow's gene, putting into a bacteria, making the bovine growth hormone from the bacteria, injecting it back into the cow with the hope to produce 10 to 15% more milk. That was the claim. Now, the law is that anybody who wants to sell any product in Canada, and if that product directly or indirectly gets into the human body, then that company or that person or whoever it is has to do research and bring research information and results to the Department of Health called Health Canada. And the results have to be satisfactory to the Minister of Health. That's the law. If the company doesn't produce those results, they don't get approval. If they lie, they go to jail. If government official lies, the official goes to jail. Because the Food and Drugs Act and regulations are attached to the Criminal Code of Canada. You cannot lie. Unfortunately, when the bovine growth hormone was brought to us, and it came to my desk in 1988, I asked the question, where is the information? Is there any scientific experiment done by Monsanto or another company, Eli Lilly? There were two of them. They said it's not necessary because this hormone is substantially equivalent to the one produced by the cow. I said, under the law, you cannot assume anything. Show me that it's substantially the same or equivalent. Have you done any research? And this question went on from 1988 to 1997. And now the department was saying, why are you sitting on this file for so long? My question was, I wrote a letter in 1988. Has there been an answer by the company? No. And the files were all locked up. So I said, open the files, told my Director General, either you pass it or I will not sign. You can overrule me, you can pass and say it's all safe, but I will not sign until I see the results, I see the answer to my letter. This is what resulted in a big fight. And that fight was not really too serious in the sense that I said to the department, why don't you open the file and let us, a few scientists, see what's in it. If it's all right, you can approve it. If it's not all right, then we're going to have to ask questions. He agreed. When we opened the file, 4 scientists were assigned to this file. We found the research had been done by Monsanto. And all my fears and apprehensions were proven to be right, because it was not substantially equivalent. Because this product produced things in the cow that were not normal. It produced pus in the milk. It produced another hormone that caused cancer. It produced, they were giving antibiotics because cows were now producing too much milk. And the cows were having double births. Cows were having all kinds of blood issues, which meant now this milk was not proper milk. And once this information came out, this became public knowledge. The farmers didn't want it, the people didn't want it, and the cows certainly didn't want it. And the Senate of Canada got to know of it, and they hauled us, my colleagues and I, before the Senate Committee on Agriculture and go and tell the truth under oath. When we told the truth, and this became a very big issue, one of the senators said, "Is this the only drug or are there others like it?" I said, "Sir, since you asked, yes, there are antibiotics and other hormones and other issues, 10 or 12. They are all in the same boat." So the senator said, "Looks like there's cancer going on at Health Canada." It was from there on. For me, it was not just Monsanto. It was all the other companies that were part of it. There was Eli Lilly also part of it. They were all competing. Then there was Dow, and there was Pfizer, there was Merck, and all these companies all trying to sell other products to produce so-called more food. And it wasn't even GMOs. Quietly approved, didn't even ask a question in 1996. Quietly approved them. And people have been screaming ever since. We want to know if they're safe or not. Health Canada won't tell you what information they receive. They won't tell you what research has been done. All they're saying, believe us, they are harmless. They're substantially equivalent. We are doing this, it's safe to grow, it's safe to eat, and we're going to feed the hungry world. All that nonsense that keep on talking about, which has nothing to do with the health of Canadians. So for me, as the issues thickened, and I kept on now filing complaints, went to many courts. I must have gone to the federal court 20 times. I've won every case. And the federal court even ruled that it was my duty to blow the whistle. Even then I got fired in 2004. It was I'm still in court, by the way. And 24 years have gone on over this fight, and we are still in court. They're waiting for me to die, and they think the issue will go away. But because I'm fired, I now can speak publicly, because I didn't used to that much, because I can't be fired again. Now, wherever I speak, because I've been speaking all over the world, telling the same story again and again. I've gone to Australia, I've gone to New Zealand, I've gone to the United States, I've gone extensively in India, and wherever I go, one question comes up now. I actually toured this winter in British Columbia and Alberta. One question comes up, invariably. People say, what do we do? That is a legitimate question, because when they invited me to go on a tour this time, I said I'm not interested, because I'm tired of making speeches. People clap, and call me a hero, and they go home and watch television and eat pizza and hot dogs. Or some people look for organic food and they don't know where to buy it. And they buy more expensive food and it's labeled organic, but it's coming from California or China. That's not organic. You have to define what's organic. And I sat down to define what's organic. It was a group like this. When I was touring BC back in 2004, they put me on a stage like this on a Sunday morning, people enjoying organic food, eating hot dogs, and there were musicians and so on. Suddenly they handed me a microphone, boom microphone like this, and said, talk to these people. There were a couple of hundred people. It dawned on me at that instant, it was like epiphany, that the answer is not with me, the answer is with these people. And suddenly I said, in our food supply, there are 5 items which have been approved illegally by Health Canada and the US Food and Drug Administration. Those are hormones, antibiotics, slaughterhouse waste being fed back to animals, food-producing animals. Then there are pesticides, and then, of course, lastly, the mother of all toxic materials, GMOs. You remove these 5, automatically all food becomes organic. You don't need to certify it. You don't need to label it. You just simply say these products are not approved, they are illegally, and so we are removing them. And the European Union doesn't allow 4 of those already. Hormones, antibiotics, slaughterhouse waste, and pesticides many, and GMOs certainly not yet. So therefore, are the Europeans less scientific than us? They take care of their health better than we do. And it was all started by one small country, Denmark, proving that using hormones, they are complete carcinogens, meaning that a single molecule, and they showed experimentally, a single molecule of something that causes cancer attaching to a single cell can start a cancer, and it can also promote an existing cancer. That's why it's called a complete carcinogen. So therefore, you cannot measure under the law what is the amount of hormone, external hormone that we can consume in beef, in whatever form, in candy, wherever it's coming from, because now hormones are being injected in various ways and left in the animals, and those animals are being not only then remains in the meat, those hormones are coming also in the excreta, in the urine and so on. And then when the animal is slaughtered, the ears are cut off where the hormones are injected, and those are turned into gelatin, and that gelatin goes into your capsules and soft candy. And so you're eating concentrated amounts of these hormones that cause cancer. Then there are antibiotics. 75 to 80% of the antibiotic use is in food-producing animals. And those antibiotics, by being there, are causing what we call superbugs. And people are dying from them. Because in hospitals you go to have some operation, minor operation, and you pick up a bug, and now those organisms, those bacteria, have actually come from food-producing animals, and they are resistant to every antibiotic available. So you die by picking up an infection that you didn't have in the hospital. That's what these antibiotics are doing to our food supply. Then there is slaughterhouse waste. Animals when you slaughter an animal, only half the animal is meat. The rest of the animal is waste. There's blood, there are bones, there are cartilages, there are tendons, there's horns, there are hooves. All this is picked up, and also animals that die on the roadside, and fox and minks or whatever, and also from the mink factories. All these animals are brought to what is called the rendering plants. In other words, they are rendered, they are boiled up, and then they're dried, and that dried powder is fed back to food-producing animals. All our food-producing animals, if you're buying your meat which is not certified organic, you don't know who the butcher is, where it's being grown, then that's what you're buying. Those animals are being fed other dead animals, and they are concentrated. They have antibiotics, they have hormones, and they're also picking up disease, like what happened with the mad cow disease. All three of these in Europe are banned. Are we smarter? And then there are pesticides. Pesticides do two things. Pesticides behave like hormones. Pesticides also affect the nervous system. And herbicides, pesticides, and all those have been there. The worst pesticide, herbicide is out there. This is called Roundup. It doesn't kill quickly, but it takes long time. Even on your plants, if you try to use Roundup, it takes a couple of weeks for the plant to die, because it chokes the plant in a way that there are certain minerals that it cannot now absorb. And so the plant dies, but the minerals, whole system has been disturbed, and then people now are eating not only the crop, but also this Roundup. And Roundup is now being used many times on the plant. On the plant, many times. It's used to first kill all vegetation, then they plant whatever they want to plant, soybean, corn, or whatever kind of crops, canola, and then they keep on, again they spray it, because these seeds now are genetically modified. They can resist the effect of Roundup and other pesticides. They're called Roundup Ready. In other words, you can keep spraying it. But what happens that by doing so, now you're leaving, Roundup is there all the time. You're killing all the insects and other plants and everything, and it's getting into your water supply, it's getting everywhere. It doesn't have the effect right away, but it has a long-term effect. Roundup does. That is what genetically modified organisms are. That is what GMOs are. No GMO can survive without these other herbicides and pesticides, because they are unnatural organisms. They are not competitive enough. If you remove all these five from your food supply, then automatically all your food becomes organic. That is what we want in our food supply. We do not want hormones. We do not want antibiotics. We do not want slaughterhouse waste being fed back to food-producing animals or put anywhere. We do not want pesticides and herbicides. We do not want GMOs, because without these, GMOs cannot survive. If you remove these five, automatically all food becomes organic. You don't have to fight. That is what we are fighting for. All food becomes automatically organic if you remove these 5, and these 5 are illegally approved, they are in our food supply. The governments have become corrupt. That's why I wrote the book, Corrupt to the Core. Our government is not working for us. The governments are working for these corporations. Monsanto is only one of them. There's a whole lot of other Pfizer and Merck, and they're all into it, except Monsanto is the most aggressive. Monsanto has the bad name. My fight is not with Monsanto. My fight is with this corruption which is in our government. Our fight has to be with our government. We own the country. This is our nation, this is our country. We cannot let these corporations pay to corrupt bureaucrats and politicians. This is what's happening. So what we have to do, if we can't fight legally, although we should be able to, we have to opt out of the system. We ourselves have to opt out of the system. We are not going to let you put these poisons in our food. So people, rise, grow your own food. If it's going to be organic, it cannot be imported. It has to be in your vicinity. And we have to change this whole system. We have to go to your municipal council. We have to go to our school system. We have to just now canvass, bring people out, mothers, grannies, everybody, that this corruption we're not going to tolerate. This is our nation, this is our country, this is our health. We are the children of God. We decide what we want to eat. Not the government, not Monsanto, not Merck, not Pfizer, not any of these companies. This is our nation. We have to make a decision. We cannot say, what can I eat? Well, come out and learn to grow. Grow your own. It's not very difficult. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What a wonderful speech. And I know that he's really put in us a moment of action. What are we going to do past today? What are we going to do? Well, there's incredible support here. I just want to give a shout out to the entire coalition. This coalition, the Toronto Non-GMO Coalition, is made up of the Toronto Seed Library, Kids' Right to Know, Millions Against Monsanto, the Genetic Engineering Debate, .blogspot.ca, and the non-GMO, and no more GMOs, right there at the top of the hill. I just want to thank everyone here for coming out. Please stay put after this next band, as we're going to announce the raffle winners of today. Absolutely. So you guys are going to go home with some fantastic prizes. If you want to run up and just make one last purchase of those amazing raffle tickets, it's going to be a great way to support the cause today. And I also just want to say, if you ever want to do a GMO detox, I am running a GMO detox in June. My name is Julie Danlick, juliedanlick.com, and I'm going to actually be taking people through a process of eliminating GMOs through a beautiful 21-day detox coming up in June. So definitely stay tuned. And that brings us to our final musical performance of the night. How amazing that we've got the farmers. The farmers are back. The Sandy Pockets are here to entertain us. They are swing, delicious, amazing dance band that are farming by day, dancing and playing music by night. Put your hands together for the Sandy Pockets! Woo!